up the normalization and the sane washing. It's very ugly stuff. All right, this is very interesting. A MAGA caller called a Vegas radio show and brutally attacked me, but then it was brilliantly turned right around on him and his dear orange leader, Donald Trump. This is super interesting. Let's take a look at it. So this is not a show I was familiar with until today. My understanding is that this is Brian Shapiro on Las Vegas radio station KSHP. And he received a caller who was a MAGA guy and basically blamed me and Luke Beasley, I guess, for like Kamala Harris losing or something like that. Let's listen to it together. But Brian does a very good job of really exposing the vapid nature of this guy's attack. Check it out.
Hey, Brian. I just wanted to comment before one of your callers, just a couple of callers ago, he mentioned Luke Beasley and David Pakman and everything. Mm-hmm. And look, I mean, I'm a conservative, so my point is like, I'm glad that the Democrats lost the election, but I also was able to see so many reasons, so many things that they did wrong as to why they lost. And I'm not saying that in terms of like my own personal bias. What I mean is like these people like David Pakman, Luke Beasley, and a lot of these Democrat, TikTok commentators and have their YouTube channels, they've earned this reputation of constantly talking down to people and acting like David Pakman is known to just be this very elitist person.
Okay. I love that. I'm known for that. That's the thing I'm known for.
Hold on, David, I want to get, I promise I'll give you a chance to finish.
Yeah.
You don't like people that talk down to people. You don't like David Pakman. By the way, I don't think David Pakman talks down to people. I think he's actually very respectful. Who do you think talks down to more people, David Pakman or Donald J. Trump?
I agree that Trump talks down to people.
No, that wasn't my question. No, but hold on, that wasn't my question. Who do you think talks down to people more, Luke Beasley and David Pakman or Donald J. Trump, who, by the way, is the president of the United States?
Talks down more.
Okay, so don't you think that's more concerning? Someone who is the leader of the free world instead of a media personality? Wouldn't that bother you more? Why did you vote for Donald Trump then?
Well, here's why. Because these Democrats, again, they constantly gave off this attitude of they're better than everybody. And here's the thing. Trump gives off that attitude, too. He's a billionaire.
Which Democrat? Okay, so give me a quote or an example of a Democrat in office that made a statement that would lead you to – I didn't
say Democrat in office. I'm saying Democrat commentators like that kid Harry Sisson, all these kids on TikTok.
So you care more about you care more about what a 20-year-old says on TikTok than the leader of the free world who you voted for.
What is Brian getting at here? Different standards for different people.
I don't understand what you're saying.
It's not that, no, let me explain. And I don't say this, I'm not saying this to sound rude or anything, but if you and other people who are Democrats can't figure out why this is a problem for Democrats, get ready to lose the next election because people are tired of being talked to like they're a 5-year-old.
Gotcha.
David Pakman, he constantly does this. And
think David Pakman, by the way, I disagree with you. I don't think David Pakman's disrespectful to people.
That's why the Democrats lost, because they can't even see this right in front of their face.
So the reason why Democrats lost is because they're, quote, disrespectful to people.
One of many reasons.
But yet the leader of the free world, the guy who you voted for, has attacked POWs and Gold Star families and women on looks. He said if you're Jewish and you didn't vote for me, you need to get your head examined. You're totally willing to put that off to the side, but yet Donald Trump won, the insulter in chief, but you're blaming David Pakman.
Yeah, me on my YouTube channel. I don't even know what the guy's referring to. I had more of an impact based on my condescension, I guess, than the things Trump has said with global on the global stage.
And some media personalities, and you don't think the right doesn't do this? Forget about Donald Trump, all joking aside. Let's forget about Trump. The Sean Hannitys of the world, the Laura Ingrams of the world, the Mark Levins of the world. Rush Limbaugh did it for years on the radio.
Yeah. So listen, this is like an 11-minute thing, and I encourage you to check it all out. But what I think Brian Shapiro is getting to here is this is a politics of exclusion and othering people that MAGA has been and has become. And on the other hand, what I advocate for and what we've been talking about here is a politics of inclusion. Oh, you changed your mind about Trump? Great. Come on in. You're welcome here. The Republicans against Trump who figured it out or whoever else. Really nice job by Brian Shapiro there. Not a guy I was familiar with until today. And, you know, the caller sort of suffering from like a main character syndrome, but not about himself, I guess about Luke Beasley and about me. Something about us is really triggering to the caller, and Brian Shapiro disarming it, but expect a lot of this over the next few years. If you value what we do at the David Pakman Show, remember to support us on Patreon.
The fallout over the last couple days with a lot of the things that Donald Trump has said, a lot of the things that Donald Trump has done, his executive orders, just the first few days of his presidency. Gas prices are up. The price of eggs are up. He's not really helping you. He's only having these executive orders and helping people that assaulted police officers on January 6th. The problem, and there are many of them within the Republican Party today, is many of them are cowards. One of those cowards that I think is dumb as a doornail is Tim Burchett, Republican out of Tennessee. He got into it with Jim Acosta in regards to Donald Trump pardoning those serious violent criminals. There were at least 600 of them. He pardoned over 1,500, but there were at least 600 of them that were accused of or convicted of violent crimes like beating police officers, spraying them with bear spray, seditious conspiracy. So Jim Acosta, who I do have a lot of respect for, I think he's a very good journalist, had Tim Burchett on his show. Now, I've always said Tim Burchett is a very, very ignorant, stupid person. And this will prove that. So this is Jim Acosta asking Tim Burchett, do you approve of these pardons? Listen to this.
You're a congressman. You're a member of Congress. You're an elected official. Take a stand.
They were not given due process. I told you if they crossed the line, they were trespassers. Should they rot in jail for the rest of their lives in a federal penitentiary?
Not trespassing, beating police officer, tasing police officers, seditious conspiracy.
What you're forgetting to say is the ones that he didn't release. Why did he not release those? There are several that he did. This blanket thing you're all talking about is not a blanket. It's not a blanket pardon. There were several that he didn't for those very same reasons. Why are you not focusing on them?
Congressman, we're talking about the leader of the Oath Keepers, the leader of the Proud Boys. They should be released from prison?
What about the leader of the FBI? What about the FBI agents that were on the grounds, that were in that mess?
Congressman, the leader of the FBI was not rioting at the Capitol that day and beating up police officers. What happened to backing police officers? Your party has said time and again, we back the blue.
What about all those police officers? What about that? What about his life is like a box of chocolates? I'm sorry, am I wrong, but does Tim Burchett not sound like Forrest Gump?
Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Tell me Tim Burchett doesn't sound like Forrest Gump. All due respect to Forrest Gump, by the way. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and Tom Hanks is great. Tim Burchett sounds like an imbecile. What about all those police officers? What about all those Capitol police officers that allowed those insurrectionists in the building? What about them? They're back in there. What about them? What about Joe Biden? What about those pedophiles? What about George Soros? What about poor Jim Acosta?
Life was like a box of chocolates.
Yeah, there you go.
You never know what you're going to get.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Republican Tim Burchett. So poor Jim Acosta had to, again, try to ask Burchett if he would answer the question. I have to deal with this with the MAGA people who call into the show every day. Here's Jim Acosta again, trying to get Tim Burchett to answer the question.
Hey, all you've done is what we're doing at CNN. We didn't storm the Capitol. These people did, and President Trump let them out of jail. Why not just say, you were wrong, Mr. President? Say it. Why can't you say it?
Jim, as I said, individually, I don't know the case. We had riots where towns were burning down, and they were allowed to do it. They were allowed to do it, and you all did not. Oh, you covered it, Jim. Come on, Jim.
All day long.
You gave it the bare modicum of coverage, and then you went on to trash Trump or some conservative cause.
I was at the White House covering the first Trump administration when they had rioting outside of the White House. I mean, that was covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news.
Life was like a box of chocolates.
Oh.
You never know what you're going to get.
Yes, that's right, Forrest. Also known as Tim Burchett. Individually, I don't know the cases. But Mr. Burchett, We're playing you the video as you speak. They beat police officers. I don't know the case. I'm sorry. I don't know it individually. Mr. Burchett, you were there that day. You saw them assault people that day. You've seen the video. I don't know the cases individually. Sounds like Pam Bondi. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with that. All of a sudden, they're not familiar with it, but they want to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop, these idiots. Oh, and it goes on because the Republican Party wants to say they back the blue, right? They back the blue. They back police officers, right? The party of back the blue. Well, whatever happened to that, Jim Acosta says?
Went to jail, and then the president let them out of jail. And all I'm asking you is for you to say that if you feel it's wrong, say it's wrong.
That's the key. They did go to jail. And under these Soros-backed DAs all across the country, these people are walking for much more heinous crimes than this.
What? I'm going to blame George Soros, who had nothing to do with January 6th or these pardons, but it's all George Soros' fault because life is like a box of chocolates. I mean, it's just, ladies and gentlemen, it's sad that there are Republicans in office today, and they know that this is wrong. They know, but yet they can't stand up to their orange orangutan leader and say, you shouldn't have done this. Listen, if you wanted to pardon all the people that weren't convicted of violent crimes, even though I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, I probably wouldn't be talking about it, right? We're talking about those who specifically beat police officers. And what they do is they want to talk about BLM. They want to talk about Joe Biden's pardons, which, by the way, I have criticized the last several days. I have. But Tim Burchett doesn't want to answer the direct question. I want to play for you some of the promises that Donald Trump has made. He said if he becomes president again. And we're going to hold his feet to the fire here. Here's promise number one.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history to get the criminals out. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. We're going to kick them the hell out of our country as fast as possible.
Oh, so this is day one. How many people have been deported so far? I'm just asking the question. It's another promise. He wants to deport 20 million illegals in this country. Let's see. Let's give him one more day. Let's see if that pans out the way he wants it to pan out or what he claimed he wanted. Here he goes into the promises about drilling for oil, which we would definitely hold his feet to the fire here.
We will, right from day one, we're going to drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill. Well, this is day one. Are they drilling? I'm just asking the question. That's all. That's all I'm doing. He wants to reverse climate procedures, and he wants to drill, baby, drill. All right. All right. This is the promise he made about trans care. Have a listen to this.
On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this?
Can you believe this? Yeah, can you believe this? Yeah, I can. I can believe that you're such a bigot and your base are such bigots that this is tops on your agenda. Now, this is day one. Last I checked, the war in Ukraine is still going on. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Is there some breaking news? Donald Trump said he could end this war within 24 hours.
I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. Quickly. I will get the problem solved, and I will get it solved in rapid order, and it will take me no longer than one day. I know exactly what to say to each of them. I got along very well with them.
Wait a second. Not only did he say it'd be over in one day, but he said before he even took office. Maybe we should check the breaking news. Let's check it and let's see if the war is over. My producer is telling me it's not over. He hasn't seen any breaking news to suggest otherwise. Okay. So this is day one. The war is not over. The war will not be over anytime soon. Not that I don't want it to be over, because a lot of innocent people are dying. But then again, these are the same people that want Russia to win. Just for the record, the war's not over. Here he goes now with the pardoning of all these January 6ers.
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking
Can
first day.
issue these pardons.
These people have been there. How long is it? 3 or 4 years?
Okay.
You know, by the way, they've been in there for years. And they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
So it appears as though, based on sources and what people are saying, that he's also going to pardon those who committed violent acts on January 6th. I've been saying this, and the MAGA idiots, some of whom call into this show, have been claiming that, Brian, that's not true. Okay, well, let's see. I think this is one of the promises that he actually will fulfill. He's going to pardon people that committed violent acts, attacked police officers on January 6th. Despicable. And then Elon Musk spoke yesterday, who is probably more of a danger to this country, maybe even more of a danger than Donald Trump, in my personal opinion. But listen to what this jackass, and that's what he is, I don't care how much money he's made, Elon Musk had to say yesterday about Trump winning the presidency.
We're looking forward to making a lot of changes, and you know this victory is the start, really. What matters going forward is to actually make significant changes, cement those changes, and set the foundation for America to be strong for a century, for centuries, forever.
What does that actually mean? By the way, how awkward is this guy? He can't even talk. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means. All it means is I'm going to enrich myself and my investors and all the people around me. Big tech billionaires are going to make trillions. I don't care about you, the American people, even though I fake it like I want to. I care just as much about you as I care about my trans daughter, who calls you a racist bigot, because that's what you are, Elon Musk. That's exactly what the Trump presidency will be the next 4 years. The Jeff Bezoses of the world getting preferential treatment, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, the Elon Musks of the world. That's exactly what we are going to see over the course of the next 4 years. Now, with that being said, I do have some criticism for Joe Biden today. I thought Joe Biden was a good president. I thought Joe Biden did a good job with our economy based on very difficult circumstances, thanks to what Donald Trump left him when we were losing 3,000 to 5,000 people a day from COVID. Joe Biden took over a terrible economy. Donald Trump is the beneficiary of what Joe Biden was able to accomplish, whether it's the CHIPS and Science Act, a bipartisan infrastructure bill, which, by the way, Donald Trump was unable to do. He promised he would do it. He was unable to do it. Bipartisan gun legislation, the most in decades. There's plenty of things Joe Biden and Kamala Harris could be proud of. And if you listen to right-wing radio, which is unbearable to listen to, by the way, it's unbearable. They'll make it as if Joe Biden's going to be one of the worst presidents in American history, but they can't spell the word fact and the actual accomplishments and where inflation is right now compared to what it was the first year in Joe Biden's administration, where the economy is right now, where the NASDAQ is right now. They won't give you actual facts on where the economy is, and all they do is lie. Just like Donald Trump. Right-wing conservative talk radio couldn't be worse to listen to than right now. And thank God the few right-wing conservative talk show hosts in Las Vegas literally have 5 listeners. But they'll make you think that Joe Biden didn't accomplish anything. And I could name you 20 accomplishments right down the list of things that Joe Biden did. With that being said, I believe Joe Biden made some mistakes. First of all, he shouldn't have stepped down 3 months before the elections. That hurt Democrats. It hurt Kamala Harris's chances. Now, if he stepped down earlier, would Harris have won? I don't know, but it certainly wouldn't have hurt. So he should have stepped down sooner, and I felt like that was selfish on his part. Joe Biden would not have defeated Donald Trump. At the time, Kamala Harris gave the Democrats the best chance to win. Joe Biden would not have defeated Donald Trump. But I'm thinking to myself, why are you giving pardons to Dr. Fauci? Why are you giving pardons to General Milley? Why are you giving pardons to these people? Clearly, General Milley didn't do anything wrong. If they want to go after General Milley, fine. If he didn't do anything wrong, he doesn't have anything to worry about. And I feel the same way about Dr. Fauci. Listen, I understand when it comes to Hunter Biden. But at the same time, if Hunter Biden had to go to jail for a couple months, that would not have bothered me either. Do your time, get out, and move on. I just feel like these pardons, and this is my personal opinion, and I'm sure there's a lot of Democrats that are listening to the show now that are going to disagree with me, but I've never said anything on the air in fear of people that might disagree. I thought Joe Biden made a mistake by pardoning Dr. Fauci, who I don't believe committed any crimes, and by pardoning General Milley and others. If Trump's DOJ wants to go after them with made-up stuff, then they won't win in court. I thought that was a mistake that Joe Biden made. I truly, truly did. So there's a lot of things to talk about today, obviously. We're talking about the inauguration. We're talking about all the lies. The fact that if you're a billionaire, you got to sit there with your wife like a Jeff Bezos did, and yet all these other governors, some of them weren't even able to get in the rotunda. And if they weren't allowed to bring their spouse. But if you're a billionaire, you were allowed to be there. Your thoughts on the inauguration today, your thoughts on the executive orders today, and of course, today is Martin Luther King Day. And when I think of Martin Luther King, I think of a man who is a hero, clearly, who paid the ultimate price for wanting equality for all. His I Have a Dream speech is probably the best speech of all time. And sadly, on this day today, we should be thinking about a true king, Martin Luther King Jr. Instead, these right-wing cultist turds in Washington, D.C. are idolizing their king, an orange Cheeto Jesus, lying 34-count convicted felon. And while all this was going on, I have to play you a little bit of the orange orangutan Donald Trump. Because he's asked about the war in the Ukraine, which, by the way, he said would be over within 24 hours, right? He said it would be over within 24 hours. Why does Donald Trump want innocent people to die? Why? If he said it could be over in 24 hours and all he would have to do is pick up the phone, why does he want innocent people to die? All Donald Trump has done is put out a Truth Social tweet threatening Vladimir Putin with tariffs. Boy, that seemed to really work out. Everyone's like, oh, look at what Donald Trump has done. He's putting pressure on Russia by putting out a tweet on the crapper. Like, I don't understand these people. So this is Donald Trump saying he's had enough of this war in the Ukraine that he said he could end within 24 hours. Have a listen to this.
People, they're great people. I don't want to do that, but we got to get this war ended. And if they don't make a settlement like fast, and Zelensky, I will say this, he wants to settle now. He's had enough. He shouldn't have allowed this to happen either. No. You know, if he's no angel, right. He shouldn't have allowed this war to happen. First of all, he's fighting a much bigger entity, okay? Much bigger. When he was, you know, talking so brave and so. Now, two things happened. They were brave, but we gave them billions of dollars. The United States spent $200 billion more than Europe. Why did we spend more? You know why? Because Biden never asked Europe to spend more.
Yeah, there you go. So blame Zelensky for the war. Blame Joe Biden for the war. Put the least amount of blame on the man who's responsible for invading a country in Vladimir Putin. Send the guy test kits during COVID, coddle him, take his word over our own FBI and CIA. That's who Donald Trump is. And what did Donald Trump do? MAGA are bragging, saying, oh, look at that. He's putting all the pressure on Vladimir Putin. Why? Because he put out a few sentences in a Truth Social tweet? He hasn't spoken to Vladimir Putin in the last several days since becoming president that I am aware of. He hasn't spoken to the Kremlin. And those working for Vladimir Putin have laughed at this. And they said they are going to end the war on their terms, not Donald Trump's terms. Now, I wish the war would end, but Donald Trump campaigned on, I'm going to end the war within 24 hours. He said it on the record multiple times. Please explain to me why he's allowing innocent people to die then. Why, Mr. President? Thought you said you could get the war to end in 24 hours. Oh, is it another false promise? Interesting. And listen, this is what Donald Trump does on a regular basis. He kisses up and admires evil, murderous dictators. Kim Jong-un, another example of this. Listen, Sean Hannity's a complete doofus, but he did ask him a few good questions. And the question was asked, will you reach out to Kim Jong-un, who Trump once again admires and says positive things about him?
Along with him. He's not a religious zealot.
Will you reach
he
out
happens
to
to be a smart guy. Kim Jong-un is a smart guy.
You'll reach out to him again.
I will. Yeah.
All right, my
he
last
liked
question.
me, and I got
Your
along
staff
with
is going to kill me, and I don't want to
my
get. I
staff
have friends
is
here.
fine. I'm not Obama.
Yeah, you're definitely not. We agree, Mr. President. You are not Barack Obama. Barack Obama is a respected, highly intelligent, a man of honor, a good father, and I would also say a good husband, even though there are some MAGA morons out there that are spreading fake, false rumors that somehow Barack Obama is in a relationship with Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston appeared on Jimmy Kimmel, laughed at it, said it's not true at all. And the only reason why there's two reasons why the MAGA morons are doing this. Reason number one is because the first couple days of Donald Trump's presidency has been an absolute disaster, whether it be pardoning people that attacked police officers, not able to end the war in the Ukraine as he said he would within 24 hours, inflation going up, gas prices going up, a crypto scam where he made over $6 billion. It's been a disaster. Getting rid of the security clearances of Mike Pompeo and John Bolton. Say what you want about Mike Pompeo and John Bolton. This is absurd. And the other reason why they're doing this is because Michelle Obama didn't show up to the inauguration. By the way, I applaud her. I don't think Obama should have been there either. Don't give Donald Trump any respect because he hasn't earned it. None of the Democrats should have been there that day. That's the only reason why these MAGA morons are spreading these fake rumors about Barack Obama. And isn't it interesting because they're making unproven allegations that Barack Obama has cheated on Michelle. Meanwhile, Donald Trump openly had sex with a porn star 2 weeks after Melania had Barron. Trump has been dishonest and a cheater, a lifelong cheater to every woman that has ever been in his life. He's got 5 kids with 3 different women and his own ex-wife accusing him of rape in court documents. He's never been faithful to one woman. And by the way, yes, that's right. Jeffrey Epstein called him his best friend. So don't tell me Donald Trump's never been on Epstein Island. That's a lie. If she wasn't my daughter, I would date her. The guy who goes into women's locker rooms, teenage girl locker rooms, to look at them naked without permission. But yeah, let's spread a rumor that Barack Obama's cheating on Michelle Obama with Jennifer Aniston. Give me a frickin' break. These are some of the dumbest people America has to offer.